Right, let's make a quick slow cook beef curry. Start with some onion. Just cut it fairly chunky. That goes in. First of all, I've got some just melting down, so the last of my virgin coconut oil for the pan. We will need some oil. Let's put a good load of oil in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be loads because I haven't got a huge amount of beef. I could do with a tad more onion, but never mind. So I put the slow cooker on a little while ago. Turn it up to high. Now that we've got some material in there, just prep this garlic. Tear off the edge like so, tip through the middle, not all the way, and then you can just wiggle. Ta-da! It's the quickest way I've sussed out of prepping garlic. Straight down the middle of the little stem that will be growing in there. You want to remove that, it's apparently bitter. That goes. Paper in the bin, ends in the compost. If you leave them attached, you get them all in one go, but don't always come off. I'll just get rid of these. Just twist. Press them down, gets the gap a little bit. Twist. They do split, so sometimes you get left with a little bit in there. It's hard to tell. Goes in the compost along with these. I missed. And then there we go. There's one more. There we go in the old garlic crusher. Saves time, but quite often, let's get rid of that little wrong bit. More often than not, I'll just use the knife and scrape like so. It's a bit quicker and you don't have to clean the garlic crusher. Now once you crush it like that, you just chop along it. Don't go all the way through to begin with. And then you've got some lovely prepped garlic real quick. If you go all the way through, the larger bits stick to the knife, so it's a bit of a pain. If you just go slightly through, avoids that procedure. A couple of carrots. Now I like to use one of these speed peelers because they're quick, look. Da, 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 da. Da, da, da. Now don't stick your finger out because I have actually took the top on a little section of my little finger it was a bruise in a cooking apple and the peeler got stuck and then I went like that and my finger was out. It just took a little circular tip with a tiny little red dot, so I stuck it back down, pressed it against my tongue and I kept it there for a whole 6 minutes. And it stuck right back fine, it didn't bleed at all, and you could hardly tell there was any cut on it at all. It's remarkable. But I did keep it there for a solid 6 minutes. I picked 6 minutes and timed it, and that worked alright. So, here's the carrot. Now, I like to cut my carrot a bit differently to most. I'll just show you quickly. slice forward, a bit like a pencil, and you get nice irregular shaped pieces. It's kind of a bit easier to cut like this rather than flat, I think, because you can control the carrot a bit better. So it's just about that kind of shape. Wide end there, narrowing down here. So it's, and then of course not quite all the way through if your carrot is very wide. That's fat carrot. And you can make them all exactly the same size. Yeah, like so. There we go. Let's just get rid of that. Next thing is the garlic. So I might as well put the lid on for a little while. Give it a little swish. Oh yes, that's nice and warmed up. Let's pop bay leaf in there straight away. Now I like a bit of sweet pointed pepper. We'll just deal with the pips afterwards. Get the head out now. Just put the knife wiggle. Put the knife wiggle. Just a bit of pressure and a wiggle is enough to loosen that bit there. And it should pop straight out, like so. Apparently you shouldn't eat pepper pips. Got a lot of poison in. Family belladonna, courgettes, peppers, tomatoes, potatoes. And then we just chop them rough. Bit of the same with this one. That can all go in. That should dissolve quite well, the pepper, and will thicken the whole mixture. Now then, I like to add some cardamom. So I'm going to do about 8 cardamom. Oh, they're beautiful they are. With the bay. Let's get this garlic going. And we can just shove these pieces in. About right. No, let's get the last one in there. Stick it down there. Now then, give it a little squeeze till the juice starts coming. I'll give it a little crunch, and then a little slice. Be careful with your knuckles while you're doing that. Now they are a bit of a pain to clean, which does help if you scrape it well back like so, but not too hard because you don't want to be taking metal off. So be gentle with your scrapings. Dab down. I usually get a piece of carrot or onion, and then we can just wipe it like that. Wipe the blade. Get rid of all that garlic off the blade. Put the lid back on. Now then, a little bit of beef, which I usually do not put it there. I usually put it straight onto here. I do my garlic on here as well so it doesn't contaminate the wood. There's some lovely little pieces. And go straight in. Let's chop some of these down a little bit. The fat will give it flavour. So I don't want to cut any of that off. There's plenty of oil in there, but that's almost about it, pretty much. Just adding some spice next. Don't like that cube shape. too regular. So we'll cut them up into nice unprocessed looking chunks. Square pieces just look too processed. There we have that. Now I can clean that separately. And give the knife a little swish. That's my knife swished and fingers rinsed. Now the other thing I like to add to this is a few green and red lentils. Now they thicken up your curry quite nicely, but don't put too many in. You only want a couple of those. That's all you need. A little bit for luck. And just one handful of these. They're a bit more robust, so they won't dissolve down. They'll form lovely little nuggets to chew on. And there we have it. Now, we'll have to deal with that. Let's put the kettle on a sec. You'll hear some noise for a few minutes while we deliver some cayenne. Now cayenne is not as hot as chili. Or paprika. We have some turmeric, a tiny little dusting, just a little dusting for all the bits of meat there. That'll do. And of course, cumin and coriander. Loads of cumin. Like 3 or 4 times the turmeric. And about half of the coriander. It's a very potent flavour, that one. Now I do want to add a little bit of smoked paprika. That's very good stuff, this. You can't really put too much, well you can, but that still won't be too much. And I like, it's quite smoky, that's enough for now. Let's leave it at that. There's quite a lot. And then lastly, a few tomatoes. Wipe the knife there, why not? There then. I showed my dad this can opener and he said, wow, that works really well. So I don't know what terrible can openers you lot use, but I don't like messing about, you know, why mess around? Ooh, lovely. Careful licking your lids. Right. I would put tomato puree in, but I haven't got any in the kitchen today. And I will just add, when the kettle's boiled, I'll be able to heat this oil. Add that to our mix. So, the kettle's nearly boiled. I want to put the tomatoes in first. Now these are chopped. I should say not chopped, that's what I meant to say. So we're going to pour the juice around the edge. And then we'll get a couple of tomatoes on the top. You don't need too much. Let's get a fork here. Separate some of these to here, the ones that's mashed, and I can keep the whole ones for tomatoes on toast or something. Yeah, a bit large, a bit less of one. What's this? Yes, that needs a clean look. Terrible bruise on that one. And we'll just leave enough there for some tomatoes and toast or something. Always turn my kettle off before the thermostat reacts, because that's just a wasted little bit of time. Now we can cut this bruise out. Let's do that. lid for now. And then just chop the tomatoes in the pan there. Now I like to go for the centre first. Cut that stem down a little. Like that. Go through the stem. And that is that. I'll add some water to this jar. Now only a tiny bit because glass will crack. If it's too cold too quick. So we do this. Put the lid on. Get the last little bits from the top. Now when the lid's on, the air expands because of the hot air in there. So be careful with that, it doesn't eject. Now we have some nice coconut butter fat in there, and that jar is now nice and clean. See, it's quite a large size jar, slightly larger than a jam jar. I quite like the label for some reason, so I'm going to keep that jar for purposes, storage purposes, or whatever. There we go. And top up with the rest of the water. Now what we do is cover it and a tad. There we go. And that should be fine. Now we'll leave that for 2 hours, however long you want really. 2 hours minimum. Well, it is an hour minimum they say, but on a high setting. I'll leave it bubble for a while and then turn it down to medium or low after a little spell of time. And just before it starts steaming, token blast of black pepper. As you will notice, I always put black pepper in with everything. And a good deal. So we can compare that with the paprika. Enough so your nose starts itching. And a little bit of salt. Not too much. That's quite a lot really, if you ask me. Lid on. Now we should leave that for a good while. And I shall have a lovely curried beef stew. And here we have it, the beef curried stew. Yeah, it's looking rather marvellous and colourful. Yes. So a couple of cardamons on the top there. We'll just get rid of them. Save the surprise later. When you bite into it and the seeds come out, which I do like. Well, lovely refreshing flavour they are. And that one. They should all be floating on the surface where I put them on it. We'll leave the others for surprise. Now here's the coconut paste. I didn't show you very well before because it was all out of shot. So 100% raw. My dad bought me this a good while ago, so I've had it in the cupboard for a few years now. In fact, see end, and that says September 17. So, you know, don't be throwing your products out just because the date's gone. Examine the products. Now then, what we have is a wonderfully thick stew. Here's a couple more cardamons. only one left in there now. And there it is. Get rid of them. Ooh. I do like to use a ladle. This meat should be lovely and succulent now. Oh, it must have been 7 cardamom pods. I shall just slosh some of that in this bowl, avoiding the bay leaf, catching a bit of juice. Oh, I got about 3 servings of that there. Have a few carrots. I do like my carrots. Oh, yes. And there you have it. Curried beef stew. You can see some of the little green lentils there. All the red ones have disappeared, and all we're left with is the little skin elements of the peppers. As I always say, enjoy.